Welcome to episode 3 of PMP Mastery. Today we are going to discuss stakeholder topic. Stakeholder topic. One of the important topic of the PMP exam. Who is stakeholder? The first question comes to that. Who stakeholder is? And of course, the answer looks like anyone who has a stake in the project. But I want to go a little bit deeper into that answer. Anyone who actually has a stake in the project, or anyone who perceives that this project is going to affect me. So anyone who is actually being affected, plus anyone who is actually thinks, perceive that I am going to affected by this project. He is the stakeholder. I like to say that the job of the project manager is to manage stakeholders, their requirements and their expectations and team. That's it. If you can manage that, you manage the entire project. The first thing, as the project charter get approved, you review the project charter, you look, okay, now the project is ready, you start working into that. You will go and identify key stakeholders. You will share with them what are their responsibility. That is how much important this topic is. Like the first thing after reviewing the charter is having a meeting with them. So let's go back and see how do we identify the stakeholders. The first and most important thing, since we have a project charter at our hand, so we will look who are the key stakeholder, and of course expert judgment, asking sponsor here will help us. We will ask the sponsor who the stakeholders are. He will give us the list of key stakeholders. We will review the project charter. Then we will also can review business case, benefit management plan. We have key stakeholders now. Now we will have a focus group meeting with them. Focus group is normally people 8 to 12 people. So key people are there in the meeting. You identify more stakeholder. Maybe you can have a workshop. In addition to that, you will look at your organizational process assets, OPS, the policies, procedures, tools and templates, past lesson learned register, that who the stakeholders can be. And very important, you will see enterprise environmental factor, who are the internal stakeholder and external stakeholders. I like to use the acronym of PESTLE: political, economical, social, technical, legal, environmental. Who these stakeholders are. Like who can be a political stakeholder, who can be economical stakeholder, who can be a social, technical, legal, environment. Pause this video, look at your project and tell me who are those stakeholders. You don't have to name them, but just put in the comments who you think are the stakeholders in your project: politically, economically, social, technical, legal, environmental. So all those stakeholders, who are them. Once we have identified those stakeholders, we will put all of them into stakeholder register. We will put all of them through stakeholder register. Now we have put them. What we are gonna do, we are gonna do analysis. Analysis consists of two parts. The first will be categorization. I'm gonna categorize the stakeholders who are the internal to the organization, within those organizations, who are external to the organization. So who are the suppliers, my client, who is actually my boss within the organization. So that help us immediately. Once you have done this classification, I'm gonna rank whom I'm gonna report, my upward stakeholders. Who is reporting to me? My downward, maybe my team, other people. Who are internal stakeholder, external stakeholder, we already did. So upward, downward and sidewards. So we will update this information in the stakeholder register. So as of now, we know who the stakeholders are. We have categorized them. We have had high level requirements of the key stakeholders. We already know. Next is the most important part, and that is we are gonna prioritize them. You see, as of now, you can have like, let's say 10,000 stakeholder or 1,000 stakeholder. How you are going to manage this 1,000, 10,000 stakeholder? You cannot. Yes, the first thing is categorize them. So I can look their category and work into that. But the next thing is more important, prioritization. So we have three tools for that. But the most important tool for prioritization is power interest graph. It can be power interest, power influence, whatever you want. I like power interest. So I put power here and interest here. Okay. So 2x2 matrix. These are those stakeholders. Okay. So who are the stakeholders having high power, high interest, low power, low interest? Since power is here it is less power, so less power, highly interested. Here it is more power, but they are not much interested. I can call this as a first quadrant for easiness, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. So put in the chat box, in the comment box, and I will answer it. In your project, who are the stakeholders who are high power, high interest? Now you can say CEO, but depending upon your project, CEO can be high power, high interest, or he is high power but not interested, wherever you want to put. Sponsor for sure, I'm gonna put it here. Okay, mostly government agencies comes here in this area. They are highly power, not interested. Now here media or competitors or your peer project managers can be like, they don't have power on you. Media does not actually have power. Your competitor does not have actual power on you, but they are there, the peer project managers. Here I called it more of a kitchen staff, security guards, those people who are not much interested. Okay, unless your project is of nuclear power or something like that, where security guards are highly interested. So this is basically what we have. I have just taken all the stakeholders and I have immediately prioritized them. Now I know that I need to work with them. Okay, so I need to see what to do here with these stakeholders. Those stakeholders who have high power, high interest, I'm gonna, let me use red pen, I'm gonna manage them closely, work with them, understanding their requirement. They are my number one stakeholder. What they need, when they need, how they need it, working with them daily, weekly, monthly, whatever they need, work with them, manage them closely. These important key stakeholders. Then these stakeholders who have high power but they are not interested, I need to keep them satisfied. I need to keep them satisfied. However I want to satisfy them, that's up to you, but you make sure that they are satisfied. If they need report after 6 months, after 1 quarter, keep them satisfied. Now they are a very important stakeholder. Now let's see those stakeholders having no power but interested. We need to keep them informed, otherwise they will spread negative words with them. We also need to manage them, keep them informed, maybe give them second-hand information. I don't know, you choose, but keep them informed. Those stakeholders who have no power and they are not interested, put them into watch list. Like, put them into a watch list. Maybe we'll review them after 1 month, after 1 year, whenever you want to do, but put them into a list so that you can come back to them. You can have a look into that and see, okay, where those stakeholders are. Maybe their priority gets changed. It can be anything. So have them documented, and anyway you have already worked hard, so keep them into that list. So my number one priority will be to manage them. Number two priority will be then these will be the third priority, and they are the last priority. Now I have my stakeholders registered at my hand, which is 100% prioritized. Here's we complete initiation. This is the entire thing that you need to do. At any time in the project, a new stakeholder is identified. You don't need a change request. You put him into the stakeholder registered. You follow the same thing, analyze them, categorize them, prioritize them. Okay, so we also have a, like I said, there are three tools. This is power interest. We have a stakeholder cube, that is the same power interest, the little modification. Here we have a x. This x is can be anything. It can be geography, their attitude, their like influence, how they want to perceive, how they need information, anything can be this. So power interest graph is a 2D model, right? You have a slight modification, power interest, and the third one it become stakeholder cube. Is stakeholder cube clear? Just understanding the name is enough. Similarly, we have another model that is basically salience model, which is actually power, urgency, and legitimacy. Power, urgency, and legitimacy. Who has a power on you, who has urgency or legitimacy? Just knowing these three things will be very important. So we already know that the stakeholder register is completed. The project manager, when it had the project charter, he had an information, started identifying the stakeholders. Once he has identified the stakeholders, he have put them into stakeholder register. Now initiation is completed. Now we will go to the planning. The first plan I'm gonna make is stakeholder engagement plan. Stakeholder engagement plan. Some author called it stakeholder management plan, but better term is engagement. What I'm gonna do in stakeholder engagement plan, I'm gonna do only one thing. I'm gonna lay out the strategies that are required to engage the stakeholders. What do I mean by strategies? So I will look at what are the strategies that are needed to change the stakeholder as I need it. For example, we use a tool in it that is called stakeholder engagement matrix. Unaware, neutral, resistant, supportive, and leading. So we use stakeholder engagement matrix. The stakeholder engagement matrix basically tells you what is the current engagement of your stakeholder according to the requirement of the project, according to the nature of the project. Where is your current stakeholder and what do you desire? What do you desire in the project? When I say what do you desire, I mean what is the requirement of the project? What is the current requirement of the project? And stakeholder engagement plan only has these things. The important stakeholder, how do we keep them engaged according to our requirement? So stakeholder engagement matrix, which is the part of a stakeholder engagement plan, it has all the strategies that are required to change the current engagement level to the desired engagement level. For example, let's say there's a stakeholder who does not know that Amer is the best PMP trainer. What I need to do, I need to make ads, I need to make promotions, I need to do multiple things so that he can at least become neutral of me. He should know about me, that I am the person who actually hold your hand and make sure that you become PMP. I am the person who can make sure that without reading book you can become PMP. So I have the highest success record, but if you don't know me, I cannot help you, and I want to help you. So I would do strategies that change your current engagement level into the desired engagement level that is needed currently in the project. If somebody is resistant, the question can come in your exam. If somebody is resistant, what will you do? And actually, if he is resistant, where does he fall? If somebody is resistant, he is here. He has higher power and highly interested. You manage him closely. You talk to him. You go with him and see what does he need. How does he need things? What things we need to look into that. You work with them. You identify their requirement and you provide the things according to them. Very, very critical thing. A resistant stakeholder is a one who have high power, high interest. We need to do that. So we make all the strategies into it. We look out all the strategies, worked into the strategies. And once the stakeholder engagement plan is ready, we'll give it to the sponsor. The sponsor will approve the plan. Once the plan is approved, you cannot change the plan. If you want to change a plan, you need to raise a change request and then the plan will be updated. Critical thing, whenever a new stakeholder is identified, you put him into the stakeholder register, no change request needed. Prioritized him, no stakeholder, no change request needed. But if because of that now you have to update the stakeholder engagement plan, now you need to raise a change request. I hope that makes sense to you. Another sequence that you may see in the exam, when a new stakeholder comes, you will update the stakeholder register, then you will need to raise a change request. Once you have raised the change request, through that change request, all the plans can be updated, which we will discuss as we move forward. Project management plan, all the plans can be updated through one change request. And after that, maybe you can have an assumption or a risk register that may need to be updated. So assumption log may need to be updated later on. Okay, so that's all you need to know about the stakeholder. One of the most important thing is that stakeholder engagement plan is about the strategies that you require to do that. In the next video, we are going to discuss how to handle communication with them. If you can't wait for the next video, click on this link. This is pathway to communication, and then the next one is journey to communication. Quickly look at there. If you want to see the previous video, if you are looking for the agile is the most important topic, so check this video. This agile video is gonna help you to understand, and the scrum video is gonna help you how the entire scrum works. The goal of this series is to make sure you get the most of the PMP in the 20 minutes or under, so that you can really master that thing. One more thing, if you have not subscribed to this channel, do subscribe it so that you don't miss anything. If you have not subscribed, put in the comment, I just subscribed it. And if you want to become PMP at any time, join our program, and we are the best in the business. If you are my student, can you put in the comment like how do I actually make sure you become PMP? So this is something I'm asking directly, and you will see the feedback into that. In my program, you don't have to read any kind of book, but if you are those kind of person who love to read the book, they cannot like study without reading the book. So I have written this book, Pathway to PMP. This is available on Amazon. It is available in Pakistan, India, everywhere. You can get this book, and this book has every single thing you need to pass. But one more time, you don't have to read any book to pass PMP. But if you love to read the book, this is more than enough. Thank you very much, and looking forward to guide you and enjoy your PMP mastery. I'm Amer.